Topping today's news, the head of CID suspended pending an investigation. We hear how the case of missing American Taylor Casey is impacting tourism. We also hear from the new Valley Boys chairman, Trevor Davis, on the Valley Boys dilemma. And this weekend, the Bahamas men's national basketball team, they'll try and make history by qualifying for the Olympic Games. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jarino Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News, and it is a pleasure to have you join us. Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernanda issued a statement this afternoon in response to the recent circulation of voice notes involving Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson, the officer in charge of the Criminal Investigations Department, CID. Commissioner Fernanda said he said that he wants to assure the public that the Royal Bahamas Police Force takes the allegations very seriously. Exactly what those allegations are were not shared with the media at this time. The police commissioner said the force is committed to maintaining the highest standards of integrity and professionalism within its ranks. Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson has consented to proceed to garden leave in the first instance, pending a thorough investigation into the outstanding matter. Chief Superintendent Anton Ramming will assume the responsibilities of the officer in charge of the Criminal Investigations Department during this period. Commissioner Fernanda says the Royal Bahamas Police Force remains dedicated to transparency, accountability, and the trust placed in them by the Bahamian people. He said they will continue to provide updates as the investigation progresses and ensure that the appropriate actions will be taken based on their findings. In an effort to attract more visitors and investors to the Bahamas, the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation has offices and agents all over the world, including the United States, Canada, and Europe, promoting the Bahamas on a daily basis. On Thursday, Director General of Tourism, Latia Duncombe, said the groundwork is paying off as the Bahamas recently won a prestigious tourism award from a top travel agent association in the United States.
And so there are a number of trade shows and events that we participate in on a regular basis. And this year, the Bahamas has been awarded the International Destination Partner of the Year Award. And this is from ASTA, the American Society of Travel Agents. And this was a very big deal for us. The U.S. is our top market, and for them to award the Bahamas as the top destination partner, that's amazing. This is on top of the numerous accolades that we receive on a daily basis. But it's never resting on our laurels. It's always perfecting what we have, showing what we have to offer, and make sure that we're authentic in all of our offerings.
Additionally, the Bahamas recently was named the Caribbean's leading luxury island destination and Caribbean leading sports tourism destination 2024. Ms. Duncombe also spoke about the marketing efforts from a public relations and content marketing perspective, which she says has also yielded benefits, especially when attracting visitors to the Family Islands.
Creative branding is always important, and we use Bahamas.com. You can send an email to me, to DPM, to DDG, and we will get it. We're engaged with Bahamas.com. And so what we also do is Bahamas.com is converted or translated into 5 different languages. So sometimes we promote in English, but we also share and promote in other languages as well. Our content marketing is also very important, and you'd have seen many of the content stories, and that's where we have real Bahamian people telling our story and telling experiences about the destination. And we've always seen that whenever we release a content story that's scheduled, we see an uptick in interest and demand for those locations and those islands, and these are something that we continue to do.
The Ministry of Tourism has also engaged in a global missions promotion campaign where they literally take Bahamian culture to various destinations around the world, encouraging travelers to choose the Bahamas for their next vacation. Still, no viable leads have been found as police continue to search for missing American tourist Taylor Casey, and the media coverage in her hometown of Chicago is not complimentary for the Bahamas. Director General of Tourism Latia Duncombe addressed the issue yesterday at the Office of the Prime Minister's press briefing.
The Bahamas is and remains a safe destination for our visitors to enjoy. safe not only for our visitors, but also our Bahamians as well. And I know that the Prime Minister introduced the 5-pronged pillar or approach to crime. We've seen increased police presence in many of our touristic zones. We've seen CCTV, facial recognition that's also available and out there. Many of our large hotel properties, they have security teams. Many of the touristic sites also have security measures that are in place.
Ms. Duncombe says that incidents like this can take place anywhere in the world. She stressed that the safety of Bahamian residents and visitors here remains a top priority. Responding to negative press, she invites people to experience the Bahamas for yourselves.
Isolated incidents, Theo, they do occur, as they can anywhere in the world, and they do occur. We looked at responsible travel, safe travel, and we admonished everyone the same level of due care that you would take when you're home. You take those measures when you're abroad as well. And then we also have a very visible police presence. And you spoke in terms of the collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism. So the Ministry of Tourism, we have many facets, many arms. And an arm that we have is the Visitor Safety and Security Unit that would make sure that the police or the touristic zones that we patrol those areas and we liaise with the police. So that's the level of support that we give. We're in those spaces. We have team members on the ground. Whenever something is of concerns, we reach out to the police, who has ultimate responsibility for safety in the destination.
Duncombe says that although the ministry has not seen a direct impact on tourism and tourist complaints as a result of the missing woman, tourism officials are continuing to monitor tourists and give them accurate information about the situation and anything else they want to know about the Bahamas. With the Longevity and Regenerative Therapies Bill passing in the House of Assembly earlier this week, despite the opposition abstaining, former Prime Minister Hubert Minnis, that's Dr. Hubert Minnis, supports the bill but is restating his call for the government to cancel its plans for the new $290 million Chinese-funded hospital. And despite his support for the bill, Dr. Minnis said the new legislation, subsequent departments and regulations, along with the new hospital, will further exacerbate the strain placed on healthcare workers.
No, having a new hospital is not the issue. It's not the solution. Because you're taking the same toxicity into a new hospital. And the same problems. You build a new hospital, you still don't have the staff complement. It's the same problem. You don't have sufficient doctors, you don't have sufficient nurses, you don't have sufficient supplies. You have a beautiful structure, but it's non-functional. And that's why I say we need the paradigm shift.
Dr. Minnis advises the government to instead shift their focus to staff and allocate the millions of dollars for the new hospital to hospital materials.
So the environment must be healthy, and they must have the materials, the equipments to work with. Because if they don't have the equipments to work with, that's what caused the problem with the overflow of beds. But the bed situation is because we have not met the complements of staffing or materials. And that's why it's so important, Madam Speaker, let us not just concentrate on building our name to say, oh, this Minnis building or, oh, this Davils building. No, let's concentrate more on staff. Staff are leaving the hospital. They're resigning. They're taking pre-retirement leave. They're taking 4 weeks vacation. They're taking unpaid leave. And you know why? Because they're not happy with the environment.
The Member of Parliament for Killarney adds that there are only 3 out of 7 functioning operating theaters at the Princess Margaret Hospital, yet the hospital still faces staffing shortages. The former Minister of Health said by facilitating new and needed regulations, the staffing shortage would worsen prior to the opening of the new hospital. And finally, in this segment, Trevor Davis, known as the chairman for the new Valley Boys, says that a number of comments made by chairman of the original Valley Boys, Mr. Brian Adderley, are false. Davis is slamming Adderley and defending himself and his faction, as he says there is no breakaway group, as his group is officially registered under the Valley Boys name.
And if they could provide you with an MPO or document stating that they also have the Valley Boys name registered, then fine. Then, of course, we know that's not possible. But instead, after they realized that they was not able to register the name because they failed to, and now the membership have the name of the group, they went ahead and registered the World Famous Valley Boys. And so it is that you have the World Famous Valley Boys registered. Why are you still claiming the Valley Boys? And so obviously the confusion is still in there. They're still trying to confuse persons. They're still trying to make something what it ain't. It's only one Valley Boys. There's no breakaway Valley Boys because every member that's supporting what we're doing believes in accountability, transparency, and structure.
According to Brian Adderley, Davis's group has been on a mission of character assassination. But Mr. Davis contends that before the split, discussions took place about plans for the group's growth and future. He criticized Mr. Adderley's lack of reasoning and inability to receive criticism about the Valley Boys Junkanoo group. And touching on Adderley's claims that he did not know who Mr. Davis is, Mr. Davis says he is untrue as he has been a rushing member, or he has been a member rushing with the Valley Boys for over 40 years. As it relates to the coming Boxing Day and New Year's Day parades, he says this.
We, the members, own the name of the Valley Boys. Now, it will be so disingenuous of any organization to know that somebody owns the name and the title with full membership of over, I think we owe over 600 members now, registered members. And you're going to allow somebody else that doesn't have the title or the ownership to the name to partake in something that says the Valley Boys. And so again, we ask for the NJC, we asking for the Minister of Culture now, and everybody needs to get involved because it has to stop, because what you're doing now is making a mockery of our legal system. So we asking for persons to step in and let's put this to bed so we could focus on going to Bay Street Boxing Day New Year's. Because obviously persons are just trying to muck up the water for whatever reason. They want to hold on for power for whatever, for as long as they could. Those days are gone. One man, one vote, and we move on to the next.
Mr. Davis's group is officially registered under the Valley Boys name, while Brian Adderley's group is registered under the world-famous Valley Boys. And both groups have plans to rush on Bay Street for the Boxing Day and New Year's Day festivities. You're listening to JCN News. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after these commercials.